This is What the Flock Radio's Birds of a Feather. We are an indie music-focused show rife with witty, fuck-laden, insanely interesting, and unhinged banter. Our thematic submissions will confuse, infuse, and delight you, while our fascinating fun features fluster, flummox, fulfill, and thrill you. I'm Professor B. Soup, international rock legend, radiant savant, and amateur wildlife photographer, and the head of the Order of the Brotherhood of the Immaculate Edit, and I don't want to hear any bullshit that I've been slipping lately because you don't know what this woman presents me to look to deal with.
You've been slipping.
I have to say that.
You've been slipping.
I mean, you don't know what I have to put up with here. You don't know
my
what
God.
I'm given to work with. No.
Wow. You better retract that shit and quick.
So I don't want to hear that I've been slipping.
That's pretty deep.
You don't know how devoted I am to it and everything. And I got to say, it's cold here like it has not been in quite a while in Southern California. So if my throat is ravaged, that's what I'm blaming it on tonight. The bath
but
salt,
you have tea.
I have tea. That's a lovely tea that Christina just made me. The bath salts have been perfectly measured, very effective, very safely, very scientifically.
My face is still intact. That's how we know.
I have not bitten a feet in the face yet. And so I'm trying to get by, drinking this lovely tea. And so I said to myself, you've got to get a pair of gonads and actually do the damn show because the folks need you, the flock needs you. So, my easily amused co-host, what sayest of thyself, Orange County socialite?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I am no such thing. But what I am is the vocalist for the rock band Ascent. That's ASNT. And you can find us on your favorite music platforms by searching ASNT and ASNT Rocks. Most recently, I'm probably also the lead singer of a new project called The Blackbird Veil, which does mostly, I guess kind of acoustic, non-super metal rock sort of stuff that we typically do. So that's a fun little venture, and we'll likely be coming to a coffee house near you.
And you've heard stuff like this from Ascent already. It's just not nearly as predominant. And the Blackbird Veil is going to knock you out. What do you hear? I mean, it's like gliding low. You've heard this kind of thing from Ascent, just knockout shit. Audrey is like that. That's the single by the Blackbird Veil. And if she hadn't mentioned it, I was going to have to be.
Aww.
I was going to have to be like, hey, I heard somewhere that there's a there's an offshoot group of Ascent, which is basically just Ascent,
Right. It's us, except we're not doing that. But we do also do Ascent music acoustic. So
well, they're going like all love mongers and shit. I mean, am I partially unplugged? Yes, I am. Okay,
I don't know what you are.
Anyway, so we're ready to do the show. And
it's been a while since we've done this particular version, but I wanted to do my Who Dat because that is a big part. But this one is band edition, so this is different. Are you ready?
I concede that I do sometimes get this, but I'm not at all optimistic about this tonight,
wow, so. Just because they said it's a band one? Okay. All right. Our namesake was invented around 1700. We won a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Metal Performance, beating out Metallica. A knee injury inspired our legendary on-stage appearance. Our satirical lyrics mocked a periodical and an underappreciated musical genre. Our frontman was intimidated by Eric Clapton and learned to play a different instrument. The band is The band has featured more than 30 different musicians over the years. Our frontman did a unique duet with astronaut Katie Coleman from outer space. Our 2003 Christmas album was our biggest commercial success since our 1987 full album release. Geddy Lee is a huge fan and hopes that this is reflected in Rush's music.
Well, first of all, you had me all the way back at Grammys. They beat Metallica. And I'm like, listen, yep. It's so clear, and it's so gratifying to have that be the subject of Who Dat. The lead singer, the frontman of whom they speak, is nothing to worry about from Clapton. He's one hell of an acoustic guitar player and a flute player and a songwriter and a singer. And he's a living legend named Ian Anderson, and we must be talking about Jethro Tull.
Wow, that is exactly correct. And I did have an extra little helping sentence in case you didn't get it, and I'll give it to you now just because I think it's funny. Tony Iommi almost joined the band as the lead guitarist.
Yeah, Tony Iommi actually appears in the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus.
That's true.
Playing, miming basically, playing White SG, I think, with Jethro Tull. Exactly.
That's correct.
He wanted Jethro Tull to be heavy. Although Jethro Tull, of course, can be very heavy, but I mean, it's a joke that they would win the metal category. They're a progressive rock band.
They thought it was funny. That's why they didn't even show up.
Yeah, they're a progressive rock group. They rock like Yes does, like every progressive rock group, maybe a little bit more often. But incredible fucking band.
No more than King Crimson, though.
And how weird is it? This happens, I notice quite a bit when we're doing the show. I was spontaneously talking to you about having seen Jethro Tull live earlier.
I know.
And that's the subject of Who Dat. Who knew?
I did. I was like, I hope that doesn't...
You knew the game was up?
Yeah, I was like, the jig's up. But
I saw the tour where they recorded the Bursting Out album, which is fucking incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so now it is time for you to introduce our current theme.
Yeah, and it's interesting to be. It's been a while, but we're introducing the current theme again in BOAF Studios North, which we got to keep moving because got to keep one step ahead.
That's true.
Actually, the reason they're after us is that we're so square that even the straightest of the straights are losing the will to live. It's like these guys are insufferably goody two shoes. So we're goodies to a harmful degree, and we're very sorry about that.
Is
but
it
we're
harmful?
Not. Yeah, we're going to try and see if we can be on some shit because that's kind of the goal of the show, really. That's when you know you've succeeded. We're not sort of prima donnas, though, who would have strange demands in our contract riders, but for the sake of our dignity, we do have a few non-negotiables that are met every time we do the show.
Oh.
There have to be beverages. There have to be nasal secretion rags.
I mean, that's yours. That's on your rider, not mine.
That's true. Don't you secrete? I mean, this is anyway, the theme. All right. Easily amused, not prone.
Or you're just funny.
Easily amused, not prone to secretion. That's
yes.
a winning combination.
I'm not sure if that is how I'd like to be described, but I'll take it, I guess.
You might recall whatever the last time we did a Birds of a Feather was, and it's such good fun to be doing that again. The theme was Drawn to You, and I love that. It's a wonderful theme. Well, this is Drawn to You, Volume 2. Christina didn't approach her musical selections with anything in mind. Instead, she just clicked tracks she was drawn to for a myriad of reasons, such as the cover, the title, the colors. The colors. The art, the band name itself. When you really nail a name, that doesn't happen often. So she was simply drawn to whatever songs she picked. And have they ever been really bad? No, because if they were, you wouldn't hear them. But no.
That's correct.
Gooches are rare.
No,
and,
we don't want a lot of gooches.
Considering this is not breaking the fourth wall to any degree that is going to really freak Christina out. She hates that, but wait. She has an amazing track record or batting average, if you're a baseball person, of picking dynamite songs based on 15 seconds. That much of the fourth wall she's allowed to break. She's broken herself.
That's true.
That's all. So we are both really hearing the song for the first time. Yeah. It's just a visceral instinct. And this time, it has to do with more than just that 15 seconds. There can be others. Why? You can be drawn to a song or an album for any number of reasons. I was just thinking the other day, I hadn't told somebody I know my Tori Amos story, but those are the two albums I remember buying just because of the cover, the reviews and the cover art. Little Earthquakes and Bat Out of Hell when they were brand new.
Oh, man.
And I saw both of those artists like really, really brand new in tiny little venues. And it was incredible, and that's what the kind of reaction that she's got, that she's picked these songs for, and I love that. It's a fantastic theme, so I look forward to doing it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really interesting. I hope you really like it. I believe you will. So we do this Crystal Unclear. It's an every show feature, and we challenge ourselves to use a selected phrase as much as possible throughout the show. And this time it is straight fire. Now, what that means is really good or better than the rest. So if something is straight fire, it's really just like kick ass. It's next level. So,
and trust me, the way this is used so cavalierly, the bar is in hell. I mean, every kind of rubbish you can possibly think of is straight fire. But we're not going to call something straight fire unless it actually is.
That's right. We are.
If you're Drake, you're not going to be played on this show anyway.
No.
And we wouldn't say we're straight fire if we were forced to listen to you. But she manages to find him. God bless you all for making great music. I think it's fantastic.
So much great music out there.
We're, as an indie artist, all of us, I mean, we are keeping art alive.
That's
and
right.
There are a few great mainstream groups, but let's face it, not many.
No.
Not
as many as I'd
most
like.
of the most amazing artists that you know that you have in your life at that time that are contemporary are people you can get on the phone and call up right now. I mean, you know, like Christina here, my bestie. And it's like, okay, I sat down and I listened to every Ascent single and the new Blackbird Veil, and it was just so amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was sitting at work the other day. It's like, I'm not sitting out here. I can listen to music, do whatever I want. So I listened to all my besties' songs, and they were just so amazing. Kudos to her and Bruce. So the music is out there, and she finds it, and we're going to see in this Drawn to You Part 2.
Exactly. Well, we're going to start actually with a great band called The Clues, and the song is called The End of Us, off the album What's Not to Love. And they are alt country, folk, and indie, so you could be saying that we might be going the Americana route today a bit. And they're from Australia. So I think you're really going to love this. I loved the first 15 seconds. So let's listen to The Clues.
I just want to sing. I've got nothing to say. I relive our last night as if I could change it. We went to your cousin's party. You turned heads in the room. I hung off your arm while everybody wanted you. So don't laugh, don't laugh. You knew what I was afraid of. Don't be so harsh. Don't be so harsh. I'm still coming back from the end of us. I'll always remember the last time you came round. Showed up so handsome and so unannounced. I thought we were headed for a shotgun bouquet, baby, on the way. First fight, late nights, bought a house, moved away. One kiss, take me out, start a joint bank account. Your dad thinks I'm funny and my mother calls you honey. Well, don't you remember just how good that would be? So don't laugh, don't laugh. You knew what I was afraid of. Don't be so harsh. Don't be so harsh. I'm still coming back from the end of us.
All right, that was The Clues with The End of Us. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, you said it was okay to start.
It is.
Yeah, we're okay. We started reading the lyrics too, or we
Yes.
started at least hearing the lyrics, which I have confessed many times to not doing the first time I hear a song.
Yes.
I'm focusing. The music is. I heard some of it when we're hearing it back. I was like, God, that's much richer. That's much deeper. But yeah, it turned out beautiful. Anyway, The Clues, which is spelled Clews. She will say it again, not the way you think. This song, The End of Us, it is an incredible blend to me. It has an Americana feel. It absolutely does. And yet it has a club beat, like a new wave kind of beat. And there's a romanticism through it. And even before hearing the lyrics, those are the notes the escape mental patient notes I took down. There's a romanticism. There's something beautiful and sweet and aching about the lyric. It sounds like it might have been a lost 80s classic. Long-time listeners to the show will remember there will be songs that I will say nobody ever heard of that were actually huge hits. It sounds like one of those. It's that good. And there's this beautiful part where there's a double time lyric. It's like you don't want to say rap, you don't want to say scat, but it's kind of like a Bob Dylan rock and roll folk thing with the lyric there, the break. And far be it for me to use a kid term, but I think it was straight fire.
It is straight fire. I did not hear the 80s classic thing. I really felt like this was like I don't know. I really felt like this is new. It feels like new Americana, something very sweet but very kind of progressive, and it has a little bit of a rock feel. It's got a little bit of, a folk feel. I like that. I thought it was a perfect blend, and the harmonies are absolutely stunning. I love, there's a couple little, I really like them. There's like some little plucks in there, and I heard them, and they add nice texture.
Well,
a lot of
pizzicato plucks.
Yes, a lot of well-placed plucking, and the percussion and the guitar were amazing. And that little pseudo rap in the middle is just beautiful, and what that little rap says is beautiful.
It is. I was loath to call it that, but you get the association, the scat, the spoken, the double time jazzy kind of thing. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was very sweet, and the whole thing is very reminiscent. And the last line is, "Don't you remember just how good that would be?" And the pain of that last line. It's just beautiful. So if you liked what you heard, and I can't imagine that you didn't, please find them at cluesmusic.com, their very own website, clewsmusic.com. All right, so what is next? I know you're thinking, Christina, just tell us what the hell's coming up, because that track was straight fire, and I agree, it was. So now what? Well, I'm glad you asked. The next thing is we are actually going to do a little feature that I like to call I'll Do It Better Than Emu. Now, I know you're thinking, Christina, didn't you do this last time? But yes, there are so many covers out there. So what is this feature? So this feature is obviously we listen to and compare the original version of this song with a cover version, and we determine whether or not the cover did it better than Emu, which is the original. And for this one, I've picked something pretty interesting, because Grace Slick was actually part of both of them. So there's a band called The Great Society that put out a song in 1966 called Someone to Love. And then very short-lived, obviously that band unfortunately did not enjoy any commercial success. So when Grace Slick left and joined Jefferson Airplane, they released Somebody to Love in 1971. So from the failure of one rock band, a hit song and a new vocalist arose. In 1966, as we mentioned, a small-time acid rock group called The Great Society released their only single. And after finding no success, as I mentioned, she left. And they went ahead, dialed it up to 11, and created an absolute smash hit and a song that we love. Now, the question is, did Jefferson Airplane and Grace Slick, as part of Jefferson Airplane, do it better than Emu than The Great Society with Grace Slick as the singer? So let's talk about that. All right, so we just listened to both versions. Well, I lied. We didn't have to listen to the Somebody to Love by Jefferson Airplane because we've heard it a bazillion times.
We have.
But we did take a listen to The Great Society, and I have some preliminary thoughts. So while it's a great song written by, you informed me, I did not know.
Yeah, for some reason I filed it away that it was Grace Slick wrote White Rabbit herself. Okay, but Somebody to Love, however, was written, I had forgotten the other band part, was actually, I thought it was her brother's band and not hers too. I just thought he did it. But her brother, Darby, I believe, Darby Slick, yeah, he wrote Somebody to Love.
And he's one of the founding members of this other band, The Great Society. So I find it to be charming, right? It's visceral, it's raw, it's certainly less polished. I feel like it's, though, unfortunately, a little clumsy, a little out of tune, and a little clunky. So I had not heard this version before, and again, it's charming, but it definitely is a little different than what ended up being, the huge smash hit by Jefferson Airplane. So what are your thoughts on The Great Society's version? And then we'll go on to the other one.
Yeah, I honestly can't say I had heard it, but it's hard to say, because if you had never heard Jefferson Airplane's version, you might think, hey, because it remains a solid song,
Meh.
but you would not know its potential, honestly.
Yeah.
It retains that nasty, gnarly psychedelic guitar that I love so much. So it is, I liked it, but honestly, as many times as I've heard it, I still would love to hear the Airplane version.
Yeah, so I as far as the Jefferson Airplane version, I feel like it finally met its true potential. I feel like things were locked down more. They were more polished. They made more sense. She really did some really cool like vocal flourishes and embellishments throughout it, which she hinted to in the Great Society version. But I really, really like what she ended up doing, and I like what the band did. For me, it is better than Emu. It is far better than the original. And I'm grateful that she was able to do it with Jefferson Airplane as well, because I feel like, Darby's work finally got its just desserts, because it is really great. And again, Grace Slick is not supposed to be this amazing singer. She is just a badass raw singer doing what she does amazing. She's just like, look, I'm doing my thing. And it is perfect for this project, for this band. And I love it.
Yeah, and a lot of, this is not surprising at all, whether we know it in a lot of cases or not. This is a metamorphosis that a lot of rock classics have undergone.
Right.
They have. I wrote notes here like a fucking rhesus monkey that wrote undergone. I thought undergone is the word I want to use, and I looked down and it's like, what the hell is that? Yeah, a lot of have undergone. And sometimes we hear them. This is the kind of shit that people with way more money than I do constantly fork out money for reissues with, 9 CDs and 9 vinyl records of 15 different alternate versions. This is that kind of song you get. Yeah. But you still, at the end of the day, you think, okay, thank God for the new one.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we appreciate, again, where it came from,
I say it's still a strong song. Yeah.
It's not. I don't like the original version, but while
I
we
even
appreciate
like the Ramones version.
Where we appreciate where it came from, but where it ended up is just far better. And that's not always the case. If you listen to this show for a long time, if you've listened to it for a long time, you will know that I typically am tending to side with the original, but in this case, I just cannot do that. So anyway, I'm grateful for both versions because one led to the other. So
a rare departure.
Anyway, so now from I'll Do It Better Than You Move to our next artist. And this gentleman's name is Grant Lee Phillips, with a song of an interesting title, Billy Bowlegs, from an album called Billy Bowlegs / Red River. And this is Americana and alt country and from Tennessee. So here in the States, it's such a rarity seemingly these days. But let's have a listen to Grant Lee Phillips.
Old hickory coming, haul out the hands like them banana trees when I cut old Billy down. Billy Bowlegs, Billy Bowlegs. Been here forever, ain't gonna leave. Home of his grandfathers, Billy was a chief. Billy Bowlegs, alligator chief. Billy Bowlegs. In Cuscowilla, Billy had a dream. Was a gray cloud coming like he'd never seen. Billy Bowlegs. What does all this mean? Come down from Washington, roll up the sleeves, chop down your forehead, like some disease, Billy Bowlegs. They have to get through me. Billy Bowlegs. Billy Bowlegs. Fight like a panther with tooth and claw. I will be dead before I'm hauled to Arkansas. So Billy Bowlegs, and that's a long ways off. Go tell the others, go tell your wife, go stir the black drink, sharpen your knives. This is war, this is war. Oh, Billy cried. Billy Bowlegs, gonna be a fight. There's a boat on fire coming up the way, smoke spilling out, cypress trees aflame, and that sky's glowing red as Georgia Clay and the fireboat is come. Billy Bowlegs.
That was Grant Lee Phillips with Billy Bowlegs. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I have not seen the cover art, but barring that, I'm going to go with you were drawn to, which is the theme, drawn to you, this song because of the title Billy Bowlegs. I mean, we grew up our whole life with Rocky Raccoon, and this is much more serious of a song.
Incorrect.
But,
that's not why.
So that's the cover art. So what was it then?
That's the cover art. That's what I was drawn to.
Oh, I see. We're looking at a bunch of rotten-ass dried ears of corn or something like that. It is striking.
It's very much like Heard Museum stuff. Now, I grew up in Arizona, so when you go to the Heard Museum, you see this, and then you see how they would use, the little... So it's called an Indian corn grinder. That's what I was able to find. And basically, they would take this dried corn, which is what this is a picture of, this dried corn, some of it multicolored corn, and they would put it there and they would grind it. And as a child, I went to the Heard Museum so many times, and you would see these. So when I saw it, it struck me as this is maybe something about Native Americans, and there is some of that there. So because of where I grew up and because of how much of that I'd seen, it really appealed to me. So I thought, well, I'm going to at least take a listen. And I was so happy that I did, because within the first 15 seconds, you hear that voice.
Yeah, exactly. You must have felt so vindicated within that first 15 seconds, because that's how it grabs you. I mean,
oh my God.
You knew you were onto something right away.
Absolutely. I can't say enough about his voice. As soon as I heard it, I was in. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's sexy. It's soulful. It's earnest. It's powerful. It's haunting. I mean, it's storytelling in all the best ways. And I literally, this song could have gone on for hours and I would have listened to it. I was just totally in. I have a lot more, but what are your thoughts on that part?
Yeah, exactly what you just said about it could have gone on, because, well, as I mentioned, this is a lot more serious than Rocky Raccoon. But I mean, I mentioned
what is
the
Rocky
name
Raccoon?
Because Billy Bowlegs, it doesn't sound well. I mean, when you get to the lyrics, it's so emotionally hefty that
Well, it sounds Native American to me. So
I didn't get that from it for some reason. Well, actually, I didn't get that from it until the middle of the song. We didn't check out the lyrics until afterwards. But I'm listening to the song and I think, did he just say chief?
right, but
And he did.
But when I saw the corn, I knew it had to be something to do with that.
An advantage I'll remind the listeners that I
So,
did not have.
Yeah, I
didn't
definitely.
know.
And then when I'm hearing Billy Bowlegs, it sounds like like a name that a Native American person might be given.
But it's the kind of thing that it winds tighter when you're going to have a narrative song like this with a lot of lyrics to tell. You need to overlay it on music that just never gets old. It's so groovy, and like I said, for first 15 seconds you must have known this is a great song. It could go on and on as long as I had more verses. It could have just continued. It was that gripping of a song, and everything about it was just right. It's kind of a straight fire deal, I think.
So there was this amazing, like really beautiful bass happening, and there was just some percussion. There's this big boom that is beautiful, that is adding to the overall haunting feeling. And I thought it was understated, and I loved that. And then there's this really subtle harmony that comes in, and it's so subtle you could maybe miss it, but I did not miss it. And it was beautiful. I just think this song is incredible, and the whole time I was listening to it, I was somewhere else. And it was, honestly, I'm going to listen to it again and again. It's one of those songs. I want to hear it again right now. So very, very powerful. If you have not already listened to this song again and again, you should. So if you want to find more by Grant Lee Phillips, you can find him at his very own website, Grant Lee Phillips, GrantLeePhillips.com. Wow. Tennessee did us very, very good this time. All right, so the next band is Roswell Road with a song called Back Row. Now, this seems to just be a single that I'm sure in the future will be on an album, but right now we're just going to listen to this single. And who is Roswell Road? Well, they are Americana and indie folk, and they hail from Alabama. So let's take a listen, and yes, you might be seeing an emerging theme. I couldn't help it. Here is Roswell Road.
Tired of this race. Let's take the view and go down the track slow. You've got a lot to say, but I'm not listening here in the back row. 'Cause I know it's the same line we hear all the time. Here in the back row, here in the back row. And it's no game, we play it over again. So I'm here in the
right. We just listened to The Back Row by Roswell Road. And what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm glad that you did all the legwork to find the lyric video, because that answered one of the questions that I had listening to the song. However, my first reaction, just going in, it was, it's wonderful that we're on an Americana theme, but this is another animal altogether. And then we're early. Well, it's beautiful to start with. The vocal, the female vocal, is absolutely glorious. But then we're treated to one of the absolute pitch perfect vocal blends I've ever heard.
It's stunning.
I mean, the way these two voices play off each other, and that's what I was wondering the whole time I was listening. I was thinking, is this one woman harmonizing with herself, as many do?
Yeah,
and then we saw the video,
picture,
and it was like,
I knew.
Oh, there, and to watch them do it, and I'm telling you, you've never heard anything like this, and it's. I mean, I'm old. I'm 64 years old, and you just don't hear this kind of perfection in a blend of two vocals and the way they play off each other, and harmonies you never would have thought of. I'm not a harmony person, but and the chorus is so engaged. Every time it comes back around, you're just able to revel in the beauty more. You're in a place that you know already, and you love it. And we were singing it after the thing was over.
We were.
All the while, you know. And then it comes to this really amazing, beautiful bridge. And it's like it's forward thinking and it's kind of hopeful, but of course it's going to go back to its main theme that we've loved so much. And we've heard, not only in my long life, but in all the years we've been doing this show, this is really a standout. I got to say,
really
Roswell
is.
Road, I mean, so amazingly well done. I'm going to have to seek him out and tell him, look, I mean, if you can get near him, it's like, okay, you guys are just absolutely stunning. And I'm really glad that it's two of you, so you can do that live, so people can actually be treated to seeing you do that live. It would have been a beautiful studio creation, but thank heaven there's two of you. You sound amazing together. The song is dynamite. Kudos, you know.
I love that it sounds like an old record. That was what drew me in. So the very beginning sounds like an old record. And as you know, I only get 15 seconds, 15 seconds in, and I hadn't even got to the voices yet. So I'm really glad that they had that at the very beginning. And it's just so moving. What they're saying, there is something really amazing that they're saying. There's a message here in addition to just these gorgeous vocals, and they're doing these little flourishes that are elevating the harmonies more and more, and these little embellishments that they do vocally that are just, I don't know, they're earth shaking. But then they talk about, you know, it sounds kind of like things aren't going well and the world is broken. It says the world is strange. And the back row is a safe place, apparently. It's a place where they go, hey, I'm back here. It's cool. Everything's okay. So it's interesting how they're talking about how things aren't great, but if they're in the back row, they're okay. And I think a lot of us, you know, feel like the world is strange and maybe sometimes hide away in the back row. And I just thought that was really, really powerful as well. And there was a hopefulness in it, but then there was a sadness in it as well. But I got lost in it. It was beautiful. And we actually ended up listening to it twice because the second time we watched the lyric video so we could determine the lyrics, because there was nowhere that the lyrics were actually provided. And we wanted to get lost in those too, but absolutely amazing. Just beautiful music. And I certainly hope you will give them a try. And they have a lot more music. This is just scratching the surface. And you can find them on their website at Roswell Road Music. That's ROSWELL roadmusic.com. Thank you, Alabama.
I love that. I'm not going to rock the boat theme. I mean, it's dynamite. It really is.
All right. So that means that we are turning things over to you for your feature tonight.
Well, Christina wants me to do a feature, but the top two things that I don't know nothing about, one is Birth and No Babies, and the other is, and she's looking like, what? That's a Gone with the Wind reference. Birth and No Babies.
I
and
remember.
Doing features, but I'm going to do my best.
Are you fucking kidding me? This is year 6.
Yeah. But I mean,
year 6.
You're never quite prepared, no matter how many times you're notified in advance.
Yeah.
And the feature I've selected, since they give me such a wide berth here, is No Egrets, Albums We Love. And for this feature, we share albums we love, why, and the indelible impact it had or has on our lives. Here we go once again, the days of yore, as in you're a dinosaur if that's all you know, but you know it's going to happen. And some of the audience is already saying, I swear if this motherfucker starts out with, you see kids back in the 70s, I'm out. Don't even go there. And by some of the audience, I mean everybody hearing this, including Christina.
Oh my God.
But I just want you to know I'm not doing it for that reason, okay? That's just an unfortunate side effect.
Oh my God.
Back in the 70s, you see kids back in the 70s, it has to start that way.
You did.
Back when you just couldn't listen to whatever the hell you wanted to any time of the day or night, you had to have records or have acts, something like that. There were a lot of acts that I really loved or had like one album of theirs, and I cherished it above all things, and that was all I ever had, but they still made it to my pantheon just on the basis of that, like Warren Zevon, okay, Excitable Boy.
Oh,
you know,
my
all you
God.
gotta know, all you gotta have is Excitable Boy, and you go, fuck, this guy's a legend. Blue Oyster Cult, Spectres, absolutely dynamite, from whence the lamentable Godzilla comes, which everybody in the world knows except Christina, evidently, and a few other people I've talked to. But
Oh, man.
I only had the one Blue Oyster Cult record, however, but I heard quite a few, and I went on to collect their entire discography. But the feature is not about Blue Oyster Cult tonight, even though there is a strong connection. And you're going, that sounds about right. That tracks. You spent 5 minutes talking about something that it's not the feature. So, but tonight's album, there is a connection at least, and it will be reiterated. It will be have a spotlight. It will have a spotlight shown upon it.
You can have a spotlight.
You'll be illuminated. The Bath Salts mix is maybe a little off. I don't know. But tonight's album we have no egrets about. Hails from 1975. And, oh boy, you're saying 75. Alice Cooper, Led Zeppelin. What's it going to be, Fred Flintstone? What's the thing tonight?
Oh, my God.
But I might even gain some hipster cred with the cool kids. The Christinas of the world out there. She usually balks at that, so I'll take it back, that she's that cool. She's actually quite upfront about being the dorkiest bespectacled rocker since Buddy Holly, you know. Hey, that's flattering, you know. But we're talking about a singer-songwriter with deep ties to the aforementioned Oyster Boys, and now that the requisite 5 minutes have elapsed since starting the feature and actually announcing what the subject is, her public debut, her introduction to the world, the first album by Patti Smith called Horses. That's right, young pups. I was digging on the iconic punk poetess herself when the trees from which came the boxes that held the diapers you motherfuckers were wearing weren't even they weren't even going to be planted for another 20 years, okay? Those trees, okay? So how do you like the dino now?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I saw the whole punk thing unfolding in real time, babe. There's Patti Smith, there's the Ramones, there's the Sex Pistols, and somehow we went from that to the oh-so-adorable Bowling for Soup. Okay. But it isn't fair to pigeonhole Patti Smith by calling her punk. That's really kind of too narrow to incorporate the avant-garde, free-flow coffeehouse recitations that find their way into so much of her output, which we really only had from the Doors, honestly, in terms of major acts who did that kind of thing, a lot of that spoken wordy type stuff, and whose influence you can see, Patti Smith's, even in some contemporary artists, like indie artists, like Christina's pals Cliff and Ivy. There certainly is. They use that, and they embrace that. There is a punk energy and attitude, and in my mind, punk is kissing cousins with what used to be called, they used to call back in the day, in the 70s, they called oldies, the original rock and roll roots recordings. It started the whole thing anyway, and we see the earliest bands like the Ramones doing covers of punky numbers that were oldies, like Do You Want to Dance and Surfin' Bird, and Blondie covered Buddy Holly, and otherwise incorporating 50s sci-fi chic with Brit pop and surf rock. That was they did a lot of that. Even the outwardly disdainful Sex Pistols covered older tunes like Substitute by The Who and I'm Not Your Stepping Stone and all that. But what Patti Smith does here is different. It's pure genius. Not once, but twice on this, her debut album, she masterminds this really dazzling fusion of the rock and roll classics and her own dark and enigmatic poetry, starting with the album's opening track. Now, this opening track, many of you probably know the song itself, Gloria by Them, Van Morrison's original group. You probably heard the Doors live version, but it is in fact just a cover, the Doors version, and it's pretty simple stuff here. But what Patti Smith does is just deliver a pearl. That's right, she's giving you pearls here. Of which Them's Gloria is only the grain of the pearl it's built on, but the pearl is much more glorious, if you'll pardon the pun. But Patti Smith shouts hello to the world with a 6-minute classic whisper to a scream epic that begins with a delicate piano playing essentially the same chords as Them's Gloria, while the narrator succinctly casts herself as a defiant member of the seamy underworld, a liar, a cheat, a thief, and a stony-hearted rebel in a mere few lines. It's so good. In classic rock fashion, she'll turn that on its head later on and be super sensitive and tender. You know, it's a full minute and a half before any of Van Morrison's very spare lyric comes into play at all. And by this time, the narrator has seen the title character through a window. The lyric tells us, humping on the parking meter. I thought that was in the original, but it's not. You know, humping on the parking meter, looking good and stating, I'll put my spell on her. Well, evidently it worked, because Gloria later shows up, and it isn't until after they take the big plunge, as the lyric describes it, that she even asks the so-called sweet young thing for her name. And then we get the legendary spelling lesson chorus. The rhythm gets progressively faster and the instrumentation more aggressive until the slam-bang recitation of the Smith's first lines of her own at the beginning of the song. And then this manic full jam in the core of the Gloria chorus, which fades out, and it makes an impression that's impossible to forget. I mean, you are mesmerized. You know, it's a masterpiece, and even if I didn't overuse that word, it would fit here. But I do, of course. So where does it go from there? Okay, track 2. Redondo Beach starts off with this kind of jaunty reggae-influenced bounce, a seemingly nice little tune, but you see, kids, back in the 70s, last time, I swear, if an album didn't come with lyrics, you pretty much weren't going to know what they were, and there are people out there. No Genius Lyrics or 1,000 different websites to look them up the way we have today, although they're not 100%. But when they get it right, you can tell.
Right.
But there was none of that, so... sometimes the albums came with lyrics for no good reason because you could clearly understand all of them and they were nothing to write home about anyway. Case in point, Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. I mean, no big deal, guys. Sometimes we found that they were a lot more clever than we thought. But anyway, not knowing the lyrics to Redondo Beach due to Patti Smith's special vocal delivery kept me from crying like a little bitch for 50 years because I had no idea how heartbreaking this disarmingly easygoing song was. I always loved it, but it kills you. The entire lyric is sung to a single person, only called You. Now, it starts with her in a hotel, just having had the quarrel that sent you away, according to the lyric, looking for this you. She goes to the Redondo Beach where everyone is sad about a girl washed up dead, evidently the victim of what the lyric calls sweet suicide. She leaves this dismal scene and returns to the hotel where the desk clerk describes the dead girl. And returning to the beach as the hearse pulls away, she realizes it was her girlfriend all along. And she continues to address her, singing, "You'll never return into my arms because you were gone. It's hard to listen to now. It's such a sad song. I hope to God it didn't happen.
It did happen.
Oh, did it? Shit.
The song describes a narrator looking for a woman who has committed suicide by drowning after an argument, a story inspired by a real incident involving a woman who died. Ingenious.
Oh, but not to Patti Smith.
Not to Patti.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No.
Well, and that makes me. There's another song in there I think that it was she heard about, but this one sounds a little more personal. But thank God that didn't happen.
No.
It's terrible that it happened to anybody, though.
Yes.
God, that's brutal. But it makes you weep now. But the music is so easygoing. You know, it's an incredible contrast. And it goes on, and while the lyrics are consistently fascinating, that by no means suggests they're easy to understand. The 9-minute Birdland is about a boy whose father passed away, and I can't tell if he's actually an extraterrestrial or not, but wouldn't surprise me because it's a pretty strange affair. A lesser-known genius named Richard Saul's piano dominates the song, and indeed, the whole album, which is played by Smith's regular band, who would be the same lineup credited as Patti Smith Group for the next 3 albums, but this one just has her name, so it's that debut. The side one, Closer Free Money, starts off again with a moody piano and ends up with Punk Ensemble Abandoned, and it's still welcome. It's a dynamite song. But then side 2 starts off with the breezy and tender Kimberly, a paean of love to a newborn child. She describes as the babe in my arms wrapped in swaddling clothes. No black heart of stone here. It's a very tender song, just like Redondo Beach was. She actually had a child around that time, which was adopted out, and that might or might not be the basis of his lovely little tune, but it's sweet and it feels very personal anyway, So much for that heart of stone, as she described herself having. Now, the next song, Break It Up, even though... What?
I was going to say, it recounts actually a personal memory of Patti holding her baby sister during a dramatic lightning storm in their New Jersey home.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
I thought it was okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was written about her younger sister, Kimberly Smith.
Well, let me think. The babe in my arms. Yeah, I always assumed it was her babe, but it could have been the baby's sister. Wow. Yeah. Gee, that's... And I'm so glad you're looking this up. That's great stuff.
Heavy stuff.
And I love the next song, Break It Up, even though I'm too much of a dum-dum to know what it's about. Though I do suspect it, too, has to do with angels or extraterrestrials or something taking people up to the sky, some weird shit. But the pre-chorus is stuck in my head a lot. I do know that.
So it's about releasing oneself from death, paralysis, and grief. It's inspired by a dream about Jim Morrison trapped in stone in Prometheus, co-written with Tom Verlaine.
Yeah, of television, yeah.
It represents freeing a trapped spirit or creative force, turning mourning into artistic transcendence.
Nice. Isn't that great? I love this, talking about the songs, and then she's looking up stuff that even I didn't know in most cases. It's perfect. And then it's on to the second song, which incorporates an oldie. This time, Land of a Thousand Dances. Now, originated in 1962, but made more famous by Cannibal and the Headhunters later on, who added the na 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 na. Na 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 na. Everybody knows that part. That was they added that part in 1965. Cannibal and the Headhunters, and then of course everybody's heard 1966 Wilson Pickett version. This is the one. Na 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 na. You got to know how to pony like Boney Maroney, and mentions a number of dances, but how or why it fits into the song, I have not the slightest idea, and I'm sure you'll understand in a minute. Smith calls this 9-minute epic Land Horses / Land of a Thousand Dances for some reason. So that's where the horses title comes in. It begins, understandably enough, with the boy, what?
Well, it's divided into 3 parts. Horses, the story of Johnny, Land of a Thousand Dances, a rock section, and La Merde.
Aha, nice.
Yes.
This is the best, man, doing it this way. Otherwise, I'm just over here talking, and this poor thing is having to suffer through it. You know? So it begins, understandably enough, with a boy called Johnny in a hall filled with lockers. You know, of course, you picture a school, you know, in that case. Minding his own business, drinking tea, somehow, when he finds himself being sexually assaulted. Lying in the aftermath, hysterically, laughing, bashing his head against the locker, he has visions of being surrounded by horses, thus giving us the title of the album. And this part of the song, which it's seemingly the only tie to Land of a Thousand Dances because it goes directly into the part about knowing how to pony like Boney Maroney. Horses, he saw. I mean, it's loose, but I love the fact that it found a way to go back to, you know, the earliest, most primal rock and roll. After this incongruous break, somebody or something called Angel asks Johnny if all he can do is surrender, when our boy recognizes he's got knives taped to his person, as you do, you know, because we all do that, you know. And this seems to be the answer. And then there's a bunch of who knows what avant-garde stream of consciousness verbiage that pretty much nobody quite gets, I don't think.
Well, allow me to help
here
you.
it comes. And wait, I will throw this part in too. Instead of the epic revenge, it appears that Johnny slits his own throat. Well, who the hell really knows, since this is a Patti Smith lyric, except we're going to find out.
Well, she described the song as the dream, life, death, resurrection, and soap opera of Johnny in the Hallway, a story that touches on themes of artistic creation, violence, and transformation. It includes references to rockers who died, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison, and features a raw stream of consciousness narrative style. The song was recorded with her band, Lenny Kaye on guitar, J.D. Daughtry on drums, and Ivan Krall on bass. The song is considered one of Smith's greatest recordings and is highly regarded for its improvisational, passionate vocal delivery.
Absolutely, and this is why it was such a big deal to me back then. You know? And the album ends with Elegy, a melancholy little number with lots of moody piano and a brief exhibition of her pretty voice, which she had been keeping under wraps all this time, apparently, doing some oohs and ahs and a plaintive cry on guitar from special guest Alan Lanier of Blue Oyster Cult, who was Smith's boyfriend for some time. And this was not her only connection to that band, however, as she co-wrote 7 songs over the years with Blue Oyster Cult, and was even asked to join them on vocals at one point early before launching her solo career, because they came out a few years early. Thank God she didn't, because every single one of them sang. We certainly didn't need another vocalist.
So it says Elegy, obviously a haunting tribute and requiem honoring rock musicians who died too young, primarily serving as a personal homage to Jimi Hendrix. It reflects on loss, admiration for departed icons, and features a melancholic sentiment. I think it's sad. It's much too bad that our friends can't be with us today.
Oh, it's beautiful.
A tribute to lost icons again. Jimi Hendrix, who's a significant influence on Smith. It also encompasses other rock figures who passed away in the late 1960s, early 70s, such as Morrison, Joplin, and Jones. As explained by this article, The song evokes a sense of personal loss and reverence for those who shaped her, acting as a spooky yet affectionate farewell. The song was recorded on the 5th anniversary of Jimi Hendrix's death.
Wow. Thank you for finding that. It's haunting and beautiful, and I've always loved it. It's more than 50 years now. And a brief quote from Wikipedia. Recognized as a seminal recording in the history of punk and later rock movements, Horses has appeared on numerous lists of the greatest albums of all time. In 2009, it was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation into the National Recording Registry as a culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant work. To me, Horses is sort of the perfect transition to punk and new wave album. It says we're going a different direction. We're redefining the parameters. It's going to go broader and it's deeper and it's going to be darker, but we're definitely not forsaking the core of rock and roll. And maybe that's why the record is such an institution, receiving the almost obligatory 50-year anniversary reissue and album in its entirety concert tour. That's right, they toured and did the whole album, and I'd love to have gone. Horses, it's a little indulgent, so you have to be in an indulging mood, but it's still a classic record, if nothing else. Check out Redondo Beach, Kimberly, Free Money, Elegy, and of course, Gloria.
You know that Madonna cited Smith's recording of Gloria as a key influence.
Oh, it has to have. It was.
And Michael Stipe has noted that Horses changed his life and encouraged him to form a band.
It has changed. It has moved so many people. It has done so many things and been so influential. I love this album, but it always brings me into bitter awareness of my biggest personal failing in life, which is that I don't know how to pony like Boney Maroney. I mean, perhaps I'm bearing my soul. Perhaps this is a little TMI, a little too personal here, but my Watusi is truly sad as well.
Oh, my God.
And don't get me started on my mashed potato. It cuts too deep. But
No.
back over to you, Pumpkin.
Oh, no. You ended it with the reference of the dances in that song. So from the loving tribute to Patti Smith's amazing horses to the Secret Sisters with the song titled I Needed You, off an album called Mind, Man, Medicine. They are from Alabama. They are Southern, Americana, and folk. So let's listen to I Needed You.
He held my heart in the palm of his hand, pulled back his arm as I sank in the sand, washed me away like a stain on his shirt, a smudge on a window left by a bird. But you found my heart buried deep in the wood, dusted it off and you kept it for good. You never step in the same river twice. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? I needed you. I needed you. Like the night needs the light to wake up to. I needed you. I needed you. Like the black needs the blue. I needed you. You never step in the same river twice. It's all I needed you.
Okay, we just listened to I Needed You by the Secret Sisters. Well, this was another lovely song, sung beautifully, delivered beautifully. This had incredible, like a string section and these harmonies. And what I really thought was striking is when you sing, you typically have the ability to emote, right? And in this case, I felt like not only was it beautiful, but there was a fragility. And I really liked the fragility because I think it spoke to the lyrics, and the lyrics are really kind of beautiful. Obviously, the song is called I Needed You. And to say that you need anybody or you need anything is always very vulnerable. So for the song to be about needing somebody over and over again, and I need you, basically it's almost like oxygen, right? I needed you, like the light, like the night needs the light to wake up to, which I thought was just beautiful. But it is this just incredible, these apparently sisters, just this beautiful sound, beautiful instrumentation. There's all these swells that just, they pique your emotions, and then they kind of come back down, and you hear that I Needed You, which again is just this beautiful sentiment. I cannot say enough. I was just really, really moved, and I'm glad, again, those first 15 seconds reeled me in because I did not know what I was in for.
But what drew you in, though?
Just the very, very beginning, that just really beautiful
I thought
opening.
It was, okay, yeah. Not
Yeah,
visual.
it's
I'll
always-
just cut that part.
Yeah, it was just the opening.
You know, when it started, I was thinking, that's beautiful, torchy, loungy piano and vocals, but no whispering waif here. There was a really, really big voice, powerful voice, under barely being restrained.
Yes.
And barely contained. And the accompaniment was it was just glorious. The strings, the way they swelled, exactly as you said. This was, like I said, the first impression was lounge, but no, it quickly becomes more Broadway. This is big stage stuff. I mean, this is like Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of song. And you would really get nailed on that "You Needed Me" part every time. And the whole thing is, it sounds like something that might come from an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Is actually quite high praise, and that's kind of how it hit me, at least.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. What I thought was interesting is when the harmonies came in on the choruses, that is where I really heard the Americana. And the rest of it felt kind of folk, but then the Americana, I felt like there was that Southern influence that just came in right there, and it was so beautifully. It was just this amazing, combination of things. So well done, the Secret Sisters. They can be found at secretsistersband.com.
and don't you just love that name? Seriously,
I do.
I forgot to say that before. Love that name. Secret
I really
Sisters.
do too. So I know it's going to sound crazy, but we have one more artist to share with you. And honestly, this is somebody that we had actually had on the show in the distant past, several years ago, I believe.
Wow.
But I came across them again. I was not looking for them, but I came across them again. And I thought, wait, I know that name. And I heard this song and I thought, wow. Does it fit the theme a little bit loosely? I didn't really have a theme, right? It just ended up that way. So the band in question is The Bitter Ruin. And the song is Shivers from an album Arches and Enemies. And I know that this is typical, but this particular band hails from the UK, which is typical of our of our lineup, but not so much tonight. Their genres are alternative Americana and dark cabaret. This is Bitter Ruin.
Lay low while they dig the land. Keep your head down. Lie on the floor if they take out the torch. Keep your head down. And the taste of wine from the warm afternoon will grace your
your feet. Keep on moving. And the scent of roses she left on your face will give the animals something to chase. Cool shivers when you met her by the wheel. Oh no, ooh, letting out your sweat is on the sheet. Oh no. And you feel the snap of the cold and the bite. Oh, steel on the nail of your neck. Close your eyes, revisit the warmth of last night, and smile. It's your death that you cannot regret. Cool shivers when you met her by the wheel. Oh no, ooh, better now your sweat is on the sheet. Oh, ooh, shivers when you met her by the wheel. Oh no, ooh, better now your sweat is on the sheet. Oh no.
That was Bitter Ruin with Shivers, and I literally got shivers that entire song. I don't even know where to start. I will say what drew me in were the beautiful male vocals that happened right away. And I just thought, gosh, that's just such a beautiful voice, so well done. And then what I didn't hear, obviously, in that first 15 seconds were these crazy harmonies that were just otherworldly. And then there is this huge kick in. It kicks in and it just knocks you out because it is so beautiful, so powerful. The swell is so great. And you just when you're kind of airborne, it brings you back down. There's this meandering bit in the middle, and there are keyboard sounds, but to me it sounds almost like a carnival tune. Like I could see like these kind of dark carousels and things in my mind. And I just thought it's so crazy. And then there are these lines, keep your head down, keep on moving. And it's this dark, beautiful, haunting, certainly dark cabaret, a nod to Americana, but it's a little bit rock to me too. It's got a little bit of an operatic feel. That's what that the female vocal does, a little kind of what feel like operatic trills at the end. And these are two powerhouse vocalists writing incredible music that is way outside the box in all of the best possible ways. This is what I want to hear when I'm going out there listening to music. I want to hear stuff like this, that it's what we should be doing, is taking chances. I mean, but they're crazily talented musicians, clearly. In order to take chances like that, you have to be. So I am beyond impressed, and that was straight fire.
Yes, definitely time to bring that we've heard a lot of straight fire tonight, but it's good that it was remembered to be said now, because that is what that was. I mean, it's this, as you said, the lone male vocalist has you in the palm of his hand. I mean,
Yes.
it's just so powerful. And I don't know if everything sounds like Broadway to me, but this is Broadway. It is big time, just a theatrical presentation. And you're already hooked with this. And then, as you said, when the female harmony comes in, you go, oh my goodness, what is this?
Good
and then
Lord.
You understand that this is like some dramas being played out with a capital D drama. I mean, it is big. If they didn't call it dark cabaret, that's what I would call it, because
Absolutely.
that's what it is.
100%.
That's the best possible description.
And Broadway, that Broadway feel for sure.
Yeah, and and it has this just slightly abstract lyric, and it's like, you're not exactly 100%, or at least a dum-dum like me is not exactly 100% sure what they're saying, but it captures enough, and it is absolute rock opera material, and it was just beautiful.
Just beautifully performed. I mean, I feel like, the shivers are caused by some of the really crazy things that happen. I mean, one of the lines that I think is obviously indicative is, and you feel the snap of the cold and the bite, old still on the nape of your neck. Something really, really dark is afoot.
Yeah, and I remember, even though, again, the lyrics, we hear the song first, then we read the lyrics, that part about the scent of the rose and give the animal something to chase, it's like, damn, that got me the first time. Yeah, this is, it's, I mean, they're leaving you to figure,
I'm just going to say, and I have no idea what the actual meaning is, but I felt like it's like slavery. I felt like so many things, like I went so many places with it, because it talks about wheat. It talks about all kinds of, like, I don't know. It just was crazy. Like, I had so many things, like this dark carousel, and I don't know. It was all over the place for me. I don't know what it means. Bitter Ruin, if you hear this, I'd love to know.
Cool.
Just because I'm so curious.
Cool album title. I mean, it's
right? Arches and Enemies. I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
First impression that, what is that, Woody Allen movie or something? But I mean, it really is a great title. So.
It really is. So if you want to hear more, find them at their very own website, Bitter Ruin Official, and that's BITTERRUIN Official. So, wow, it was a great night of music. I want to say that for sure.
TC.
So I would like to turn it over to you for our obligatory wrap-up.
All right, I guess that means it's time to wrap this puppy up in a neat little blanket. Well, that involves telling you that coming up, Winging It, a short show about a music-related topic. No new artist introductions like you had tonight, amazing songs or tracks. We simply share opinions and promise laughs. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, and many more. Subscribe to your birds and get notified of every show. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram at BOAF on Air, BOAF as in Birds of a Feather on Air. Tell your friends in bands to send in their music. No, really, we do want to listen to their music and find those gems like tonight. Well, and also, if you would please help us grow our murmuration, our colony, our flock. And how do you do that? Well, you share us in your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok feeds, etc., and share your birds with the world. And that's all the requisite stuff and the vital information. And I guess that only leaves for you to say,
let's get the flock out of here.
This has been Birds of a Feather on What the Flock Radio.